The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today on this webinar regarding the 7 steps to getting ready for Cortex in Sitecore. My name is Michael Thompson. I'm the VP of Client Engagement, and I'm also a Sitecore MVP. Thank you for joining me. So I like this little meme here that I've found on the web whenever I think of 7 steps of anything. If you've ever watched something about Mary, if you ever heard of 8-minute abs, this is going to blow it out of the water with 7-minute abs. It's a great scene. If you haven't seen it, definitely recommend it. But just something to think of whenever you see the 7 steps of anything. A little bit about myself. As I mentioned, I'm the VP of Client Engagement here at Altudo. I have over 7 years of experience with Sitecore. I'm a Sitecore Ambassador MVP, which the Ambassador MVP is someone that is an advocate of Sitecore in the community and willing to talk to anybody in regards to Sitecore. So if you're looking to speak to somebody about capabilities within Sitecore or just thoughts around the platform, that is part of my part of being an MVP for Sitecore. So feel free to reach out to me. I was a Sitecore account manager for almost 5 years, currently working obviously with the Sitecore vendor here, Altudo. And here's some of my contact information if you want to follow up with me at the beyond this webinar. A little bit about Altudo. We are focused on one-to-one customer experience. We are a Sitecore Platinum partner. We're focused primarily on Sitecore for content management and customer engagement platforms. We do work with multiple marketing automation solutions such as Marketo, Eloqua, and others, along with CRM such as Future, Salesforce, Dynamics. And our focus is to actually bring all of those platforms together so that you can actually deliver a one-to-one experience across the online and offline solutions. So 61.4%. So per the CMO survey from February earlier this year in 2018, 61% of companies aren't yet using machine learning. But about 1/3 of companies have begun investigating or have initiatives in progress. Fewer than 1/3 of the companies surveyed have no near-term plan to actually explore the use of machine learning. We know firsthand that organizations which have successfully implemented machine learning report improved conversions and greater insights into their data. So what is machine learning? Machine learning is a computer program is said to learn from experience E with respect to some class of task T and performance measure P. If its performance of task in T as measured by P improves with experience E. So what does that mean? Obviously, it's quite a mouthful, but as it's saying here in layman terms, machine learning provides computers with the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. So what we're going to talk about today is how to actually collect data within Sitecore, utilizing the capabilities within the platform to be ready for Cortex, which is machine learning. This isn't about actually utilizing Cortex at this point, but being able to set the foundation for success once you do implement it. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is web analytics. About 90% of Sitecore clients aren't using the capabilities within the platform beyond the content management solution. This is based on a non-scientific collection of data over the years that I've worked with Sitecore. And again, I've found about 90% of them aren't even using the analytics within the platform. So one of the key things with machine learning and Cortex is to start collecting data. By collecting the web analytics within Sitecore, it allows you to be able to start building up information in regards to, here as an example, channel groups by visit. So you can see the referral, the direct, social, organic, or even email campaigns within Sitecore. You can get further reporting within the solution that actually might show you number of visits, time on site. All that information is being collected within the solution. With Sitecore, one of the benefits is that unlike other solutions such as Google Analytics, where you have to actually put a code snippet on the site, Sitecore out of the box is actually collecting the data automatically within the solution once you turn on the analytics. So it's collecting all the data of site visits, page views, clicks, all the information is being stored within the system. Now, the second step I feel is augmenting the data that you have within Sitecore. There's many ways that you can augment data within Sitecore. One of the first ones is by simple data augmentation. If anybody's used the Sitecore GeoIP information that's available, it actually can collect data such as time zone, country, region, business name, which could be huge for your sales team. So what you're able to do is actually start collecting some data about an individual on the site and augmenting the profile within Sitecore. You can go a little further and do like an intermediate data augmentation by utilizing a solution such as demand base. So demand base can add additional attributes such as revenue for the company, number of employees, whether it's a B2B to B2C. These can be critical for personalization, which we'll talk about a little bit later on, and how you can personalize to an anonymous visitor using this augmented data. Demand base does have an out-of-the-box connector with Sitecore. And you can see here within the rules editor, within the personalization tool within Sitecore, you can actually use the information being put through from demand base, such as target revenue range. Here's an example. And within those rules, you can actually be able to search for those rules and then be able to implement that rule within Sitecore. So you can actually target content based off of a revenue range that the customer might be in, even if they're an anonymous visitor to the site. Now you can go even a little bit further with some advanced data augmentation and go beyond with Bombora. Bombora has a solution called Customer Surge, which is a score on a scale of 0 to 100. And basically, they take 60 as the typical average score, and anything above it indicates that its content consumption on a specific topic is significantly above average. So Bombora, what it does is it will actually have particular topics. I've set here an example of Bombora, and I've chosen some of the topics that they actually track across the web. You can see here customer experience, digital engagement, digital experience. So obviously as a company such as Altudo, we're focused on helping customers with their digital experience. And you can see here are some companies that are actually trending higher on this engagement across the web. So you can take their API, be able to take in the topics that they're focused on and which ones they're surging on, and be able to personalize the site utilizing that too. So this is not an out-of-the-box integration, but it is something that we can do for any company. Third piece of data collection is campaign tracking. By using campaign tokens to understand the ROI of your campaigns, you can be able to track the engagement to the website or from emails or from ads that you might be having out there, from email campaigns, from also possibly creating print advertisement that's going out with a particular alias URL. If you aren't using the campaign tracking to see the value of your campaigns, connecting the inbound activities to your channels can give you insights on how the marketing is driving revenue. So make sure you're not missing out on that data. Here's an example of a campaign link that I use to actually be able to track the engagement that I'm using through emails and stuff like that I'm sending to clients. So by actually creating this token, adding it to the end of the URL with a question mark, I'm then able to track how people are going to a particular site utilizing that campaign that I'm putting on all of the URLs I'm sending out. It's very easy to do within Sitecore. You can create the campaign within Sitecore. It will give you that campaign link, and then you'll be able to track the visits based off of that token. And you can see here's an example of 80 visits from a campaign token that I've been using, and the page views and how long they're on site. Some people might say that they're using Google campaigns. Well, there is actually a capability of utilizing Sitecore to then push your campaigns to Google. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. You can see that setting up the campaign in Sitecore, then you're able to push that campaign to the data layer within Sitecore and then push the campaign to Google Analytics. If you want to actually read a little bit more about this, there's a blog post by Adam Rubato. He's actually created full details on how to actually utilize the Google Tag Manager with Sitecore. Number 4 of collecting data is custom facets. In the Sitecore Experience platform, taxonomies are a way to organize items. You apply taxonomy tags to identify campaigns, referring channels, and other information about your marketing activities. This allows you to identify and track relationships between various marketing activities, providing you with deeper insights into campaign effectiveness and how your contacts interact with your brand. So custom facets provide the ability to further categorize your campaigns, your goals, your assets, so that logical attributes can be assigned to your items for reporting purposes. Tagging your goals with specific facets allows you to track how frequently contacts are converting on goals, which are segmented based off the areas that make sense for your business. Examples of facets may be verticals or business markets. So in the example I'm providing here, you can see that within the business market, one of those markets is the Nordics. Obviously, North America might be one. You might have a little bit more granular and say United States as one. So you can really be able to understand where the markets are based off of where you're sending that campaign out to. So you're providing in further detail on the campaign that you're doing. Another way to collect data is utilizing goals within Sitecore. So again, this is a fairly easy way to actually extend the data that you're collecting about individuals on the site. What goals are activities a visitor can take on your site. Goals can be associated with campaigns and even triggered a marketing automation plan to move them along on a journey. You can also add value to the goals based off of your business needs. So by assigning a scaled business value to your goals, you can track the engagement of a visitor and determine when to engage a contact. Create funnels for MQLs and SQLs based off engagement value a visitor might have. So now you're not only providing a goal to a particular event within your site, but now you're providing it value based off of where it is in your business needs. Attaching a goal to an event is fairly easy within Sitecore. You can add it to a goal, to a page. You can add it to a completed form, or even within a marketing automation plan within Sitecore. So you're able to actually go within Sitecore's experience editor, click on the goals, and then attach the goals to a particular page. You can track the success of those goals within the analytics dashboard within Sitecore. So you can actually see which goals are working well and which ones aren't, allowing you to fail faster. If a particular goal is not being triggered, you could either look at whether there's traffic being sent to the page that has that goal, or if there is a lot of traffic being sent to that page, maybe changing the call to action or form that you have on the site. So you can track that success of the goals right within Sitecore. Number 6 of data collection is the metadata within Sitecore. When you create content within Sitecore, you can actually add a content item within the actual layout to be able to categorize and create additional metadata for that content. So when you're creating a blog post or a product item, then you can actually attach a particular category to that content or product item so that you can become a little bit more granular understanding of what a profile might be attached to or reviewing. So now if you have a particular profile looking at a particular content item and that content item has machine learning, marketing, and Sitecore as categories, you might be able to then reflect that as a personalized reach out either via the marketing automation plan or when the next time they come to the website, being able to personalize it further, understanding what their intent is. There is a new solution out there from Thomas Reuters that's actually attached within Sitecore called OpenCalais. I don't have a lot of details about this at this point since it is fairly new, but OpenCalais will actually help you understand the metadata that is attached to a content item or product, basically being able to automate that process. The seventh item in collecting data is personalization. So by personalizing your website, you can actually collect additional data on what actually is converting higher. And this 10 to 15, this is the number of seconds. So most people will leave your site after 10 to 15 seconds. You have limited time to capture their interest, so make sure that it's about them. Personalize to them. They don't care about your CEO. I say this half jokingly, but I've seen many websites that I've gone to where the actual content on their website is more about their CEO and maybe what award they've just done or recent engagement that they've talked about. You know, really, unless your CEO is probably Elon Musk, and obviously he's not part of the CEO anymore either. But unless you're Elon Musk, most customers aren't going to really care too much about the CEO. They're going to care about what they're looking for in your website. So make sure it's about them, not you. And personalization can lead to a 30% increase in year-over-year revenue. That's quite a big uptick. Obviously, even if it's only 10%, it's well worth doing the personalization. $14.5, personalization can lead to a 14.5% increase in average profit margin per customer year over year. 20.3, personalization can increase customer retention year over year by 20.3%. This is by averaging research. These are quite substantial numbers. So if you think about it, you can take your existing customer base and increase your margin by 14.5%. That could be quite substantial for many companies. And obviously, if you're mitigating some of your customer churn using personalization, that's a big aspect also, because it does cost more money to get new customers than actually trying to keep the ones that you currently have. So I have a little bonus one here. It's testing. Within Sitecore, you can definitely be able to do either A/B testing or multivariate testing. Testing content can be as simple as that A/B test, you know, just testing one versus the other. You can have two variants of a component on your site. One can be a red writing and the other one can be blue. Solutions providing this capability will track which one leads to highest rate of conversion. More advanced multivariate testing could include multiple components on a page or an entire page altogether. Within Sitecore, you can see here that they track the trailing value per visit to see which one does best. So it's not only just that page, but it also is the overall involvement within the site and the conversions on the site and engagement on the site going beyond just the single test that's going on. So it's all about data and collecting data in order to use Sitecore Cortex. Everything that I've discussed in this presentation is a data point. You need that data within Sitecore either through the collection outlined here within the steps that I've talked about, or by integrating using XConnect to be able to use Cortex productively. Machine learning will help you to understand the clustered data. It will provide your team feedback and can lead to marketing decisions. Future capabilities may allow Cortex to automate the engagement with the visitor. Here's an example that might be where X2 could resemble content consumption and X1 could be a persona. So you can actually start to see the clustering of how people are engaging within that content and the persona that is actually attached to. So the key is to collect the data. Make sure you're collecting the data throughout the platform and utilizing the capabilities within Sitecore to do so. If you have any questions about how data can be collected, that's something we definitely can go into a little bit further. I do want to leave you with a little bit of something that we do with many of our clients called Art of the Experience. And it's how we actually can utilize the Sitecore system to personalize the experience on the site to be able to drive the engagement. So this is just a general company that we've selected, Legrand. It's not a customer. It's not someone that that we're currently engaged with, I felt it would be best to just utilize someone out of the blue. And with this, what we're showing now is someone that's actually on LinkedIn. So they're not on your website. What you've done is you've created an campaign to try to drive inbound traffic to your website. So within here, they've chosen that Michael C. Is someone that they want to target. So they've provided this campaign, a little bit more about IoT devices, trying to attract them to the site. So Michael clicks on the actual LinkedIn and brings them to the website. So some of the stuff that we're actually able to collect based off the data that we have. So due to the campaign token, we know that it's coming from LinkedIn, that they're interested in IoT. Based off the geo-IP information that we have, they're coming from Los Angeles. Their IP address is AAA Development, so we know the company that they're coming from, and we know that this is their first visit. So some of the parts of the profile is that they're from California, obviously Los Angeles. The profile is home builder based off the content that they touched on the website. They have luxury and custom profile here. So now we're continuing to build up this profile. They're actually touching now on a video that's within the site. And they watch that video, so they're triggering a goal within Sitecore for that watched video. Based off that video, we know that they're in the research phase. Now they leave and come back for visit 2. So instead of actually seeing this just normal site or page for the campaign for visit 2, we're actually going to personalize the site based off of what we know about them. So we know that they're possibly a home builder, so we've actually put in the content here. Now we know that they're engaged. Their strategy right now is our strategy is to actually engage them and build trust with them. The channel is obviously website personalization, and currently their engagement is fairly low. But we're going to actually start to obviously dive a little further here and allow them to touch on content that's relevant to them. So they click on the builder incentives. So now they've read about builder incentives, so it's another goal within the system. We've moved them up to the evaluation phase based off the content they've consumed. So we're talking about the goal point value here. They've gone beyond a particular point value within the system, so their profile changes. And now we move to a little bit more personalization, asking them to become part of our community and join now. And they do that, they subscribe to the newsletter. We now have their email address, they have the name, they click on IoT content, so they read more about the radiant lighting control, and they're part of that IoT. So now the strategy is to actually become part of the loyalty program. We've moved them to a channel of email, marketing automation, and social, and their engagement has now become medium. So now we're going into the profile that Sitecore has built out based off of all the content, all the events that we've tracked within the system. And now you can see that Michael has built out all this information about them. We know all the times that they've come to the website, where they're from. This information can then be utilized within, say, Pardot to actually then engage them based off of information we've gathered. You can see some of the additional fields here. They're interested in IoT, radiant lighting control. And the email is geared towards them based off of what we know about them. And we can also start to create tasks within the CRM. So it's being able to say, this person's interested, they have engagement, get that in front of a salesperson to actually make that phone call too. And you can see some of the additional information, where their engagement value is high, what profile they are. So now you're educating that salesperson based off the information that you provided to actually give that salesperson a reason to call beyond just saying, hey, I heard you're interested in us. What do you need? It's more of an engagement phone call where you're actually talking to them about home building, maybe some of the IoT stuff that they actually have touched on the website. That's my presentation for today. I know that's pretty quick. I like to keep the webinars fairly short, but I'm just going to open it up now for any questions and see if anybody has any questions. Okay, I think we have a couple of questions coming in here. So I have one from Mel. What role do marketing automation platforms play once you've captured visitor data, creating segments, and what is next? So I think we touched on that on the art of the experience. So we kind of talked about the marketing automation plans. So you can create marketing automation plans within Sitecore. So what you're doing is, as you're collecting that data, if you set up marketing automation plans to utilize that data, you can push them along in either personalization within Sitecore or triggering emails. Additionally, you can review that data to understand which profiles actually touch on particular content, which ones are more likely to trigger particular campaigns. So you can then set up a marketing automation plan based off that information that you're gathered. See if we have any others. Thank you, Mel, for that question. Okay, we got another one here. Greg asked, what type of companies in terms of size and industry are best suited to implement and get the most out of machine learning? That's a great question, Greg. Obviously, this presentation is definitely about Cortex and machine learning. I would say that everything that we talked about within this webinar today actually can benefit anybody within any industry. So with machine learning, I'm not sure it's particularly focused on an industry. It's more relevant to how much data you can collect or infuse into your understanding of your clients. Data is key for machine learning. If you're actually don't have a threshold of enough data, then machine learning will not be beneficial. So the key is obviously, like I'm talking about today, collect as much data. Then what you can do is start to create some of the algorithms within machine learning to test them out and see if they're viable. I think that the jury is still out with how much data is necessary in order for machine learning to be viable. I've seen a couple things, but there's no definitive outline of how much data is needed. So it doesn't really talk about industry itself, but what I can say is that high visits and data collection companies obviously would benefit. So I would think retail might be one, consumer packaged goods, high tech. Those are some examples of companies or industries that are, I think, well suited, but I don't think it's tied just to an industry and individually. Okay, let's see here. I think I got another one here. So Bob, let's see here. I'm not sure who this one's from, but what is the sense of the GeoIP location services out there? GeoLite being free, Sitecore's integration option being non-free, pros, cons, or any lessons learned. So I've never used GeoLite. Obviously, Sitecore's integration is already built out with the rules with editors within Sitecore's personalization capabilities. So obviously there's a benefit there versus maybe using a GeoLite. There might be some integration needed in order to do that. Pros and cons. One thing that I would say is obviously use any GeoIP just to collect some data. I really feel that a solution like demand-based, which is obviously more expensive, but if you're a B2B company, if demand-based obviously can provide a lot more value to not only the ability to do personalization and augment the profile, but also create marketing automation plans and understand how to push those to your sales reps. I'm actually currently working on a blog series for account-based marketing, and I feel high tech with account-based marketing and demand-based would be huge. But hopefully that answers your question. And I think that's about it for now, I guess, for questions. If anybody is interested in connecting with me, my email is michael.thompson@altudo.co, that's C-O, or feel free, obviously, to connect with me on Twitter or LinkedIn. I appreciate everybody's time today. Thank you for joining me, and look forward to connecting with any of you in the future. Have a wonderful day.